I now wish to introduce to you Elana Samuels from the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles. Elana has held several positions. She was the deputy director of the museum. She has been, and she is now, the director of volunteer services, which is a huge operation at the museum. And she kindly came up to Sacramento today to represent the Simon Wiesenthal Center and the Museum of Tolerance. Elana.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a pleasure to represent the Museum of Tolerance at today's opening of the Courage exhibition at Sacramento State. We must have the courage to study, to educate, and to remember the Holocaust. For only informed and morally committed individuals can prevent such persecution from happening again. At the Museum of Tolerance, visitors are challenged to explore the meaning of tolerance and the consequences of intolerance by focusing on the history of the Holocaust and the dynamics of discrimination in our world today. Unique interactive exhibits provide a hands-on learning experience that inspires visitors to learn from the past, explore the present, and assume responsibility for the future. The Museum of Tolerance opened in February 1993 as the educational arm of the Simon Wiesenthal Center, an internationally acclaimed human rights organization dedicated to preserving the memory of the Holocaust and to fostering tolerance through community involvement, educational outreach, and social action. With education as our most important tool, the Museum of Tolerance's primary focus is on young people, welcoming over 130,000 youth to the museum each year. We also have trained over 150,000 law enforcement professionals and educators through our Tools for Tolerance for Professional program in anti-bias education in the last decade. Outreach on college campuses is another one of our important programs. The Mott is proud to provide educational resources, such as this Courage to Remember exhibition, which was originally developed by the SWC and MOT Library and Archives in 1988 on the 50th anniversary of Kristallnacht, and it was again revised in 2001. The Courage to Remember exhibition highlights the years 1933, when Hitler came to power, to 1945, the final defeat of the Third Reich. There are 42 panels enhanced by photographic, quotations, and historical information that provide a comprehensive overview of the Holocaust period. To augment this information, the Museum of Tolerance is proud to provide additional educational resources that are available to you. Please visit our website, museumoftolerance.com, to read the passport stories of Jewish children whose lives were changed during the Holocaust, and to access frequently asked questions, FAQs, about the Holocaust period. You can also engage with Ask a Survivor, an online program to contact a survivor and ask your question, or you can go to Facebook. Mariah Films, the Simon Wiesenthal Center's film department, has produced 2 Academy Award-winning documentaries, Genocide in 1982 and The Long Way Home in 1997, and offers other outstanding documentaries. Of course, I wish to extend an invitation to each of you, when you come to Los Angeles, to be sure to visit the Museum of Tolerance. A new exhibition will be opening on October 3rd. Hitler's Letter, the letter that changed the world. In September 1919, Adolf Hitler wrote a letter answering a question on what Germany's position was on the Jews. In the letter, Hitler wrote that what Germany needed was a ruthless government to implement, quote, an anti-Semitism based on reason, whose fine aim, however, must be the uncompromising removal of the Jews altogether, end quote. What began as a private letter in 1919 became state policy 22 years later, when 6 million Jews, 1/3 of world Jewry, were murdered. This is an important warning for future generations. Demagogues need to be taken seriously. Simon Wiesenthal reminds us, quote, that hope lives when people remember, end quote. We thank you for having the courage to remember. And we thank the university and our partners for bringing this exhibition today.
I've been admonished that I have to use the microphone, otherwise my voice won't be recorded for posterity. How the classroom has changed since I started teaching 38 years ago. Our next speaker is Denis Doute, who is with SNCF, the French National Railway, and the sponsor who made it possible for us to bring you this exhibit once again. We're delighted to have him with us today. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Fred. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. SNCF, as you have heard now more than once, is the French National Railroad and probably better known as the owner and operator of the TGV, the French high-speed train system. SNCF was created just before the beginning of World War II, owned by the state of France. Soon after it was organized in 1940, Nazi Germany invaded France and took control of all the national institutions, including SNCF. In early 1942, after the decision that we've heard about to exterminate all the Jews, the Nazis decided to use the railroad to achieve that goal in all the countries they had control over. So between 1942 and 1944, SNCF employees and trains were used to transport Jews to the German border, from where they were taken to the concentration and extermination camps. In the early 1990s, SNCF committed long-term on historical research, on transparency on all what had happened during that period. Committed also on memory actions and also on education. We believe this was very important. And if this effort, this commitment was originated in France, because this is where it all started, we have learned that this courage to remember is also very important in all the world, in the US and in California. Today, we are here partnering with the Foundation for California and with the Simon Wiesenthal Center and its education arm, the Museum of Tolerance, in order to help our society summon that courage. The Foundation for California and the Museum of Tolerance have a tremendous track record to bring high-level policy debates, exhibits moving all around the world, and also some intensive workshops. Some may say that SNCF of World War II has no right to be part of this educational effort. The SNCF of today believes it's our commitment to do it, and we are very humbled to be part of this effort. After 70 years since the Holocaust happened, we still live in a world of intolerance. The courage to remember what happened before is necessary to have the courage to influence what will happen ahead. It is not only right, it is vital that we all support initiatives and work from institutions like the Foundation for California and the Simon Wiesenthal Center. There can never be enough done to right the wrongs of the Holocaust. In the words of Maya Angelou, History cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Thank you for your attention. It's my honor, and I'm very grateful to share this moment with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Denis. We have a couple of important guests with us today, and they're going to say a few words to you. First, there's Howard Schmidt, who is the Chief of Staff to County Supervisor Susan Peters. Howard?
Thank you very much. Supervisor Peters sends her regrets not being able to join you today. She had planned to. Unfortunately, the Board of Supervisors is still down in session downtown today. But she did ask me to convey to the university and to the museum, thank you very much for bringing this important exhibit here to Sacramento. And also she expresses her hope that it serves as a constant reminder of what occurred in the dark history of mankind in the past and serves as a teaching tool for the future so it's never repeated. Thank you.
It's next my special privilege to introduce Sacramento City Councilman Steve Cohn, who has a well-deserved and well-known reputation in the city of Sacramento, and he's a great public servant. Steve?
Thank you. And thank you to Igra for being here, and hopefully you'll be around for many years to come to help remind our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren what happened not that long ago. I want to thank the Museum of Tolerance, Sac State University, the Foundation, and especially to the Société Nationale de Chemin de Fer, SNCF, from France, for making this commitment so far away from France. Obviously a very meaningful exhibit for you. And I know for those who haven't, there's a movie out right now along these same lines that's called Sarah's Key. And so I don't know if there's sort of a reawakening in France or what's, I know I've been back to the Shoah Memorial back there, and I'm glad to see that the Holocaust is being remembered in France as it is in other parts of this world. But I'm especially grateful to have this exhibit come here to Sacramento. We pride ourselves on being a very welcoming community. We are the most integrated city in America, according to Harvard University and Time Magazine. And so I don't always believe Harvard being a Yale graduate, but I think in this case, I think they have it right. This community is made up of people from pretty much every nation on earth. Just about every language is represented here in every culture. Yet we live together, and together, not just generally speaking, but we live in the same precincts. I'm using political speak here. That's why we're the most integrated city. We don't have a black neighborhood and a Mexican neighborhood and a Jewish neighborhood and an Italian neighborhood. We all live together in this community, and that's what makes Sacramento special. But having said that,